the San Joaquin area. My name is Ed Heitman, and welcome to the Phonebooth No Comment here on TVOSJ, the voice of San Joaquin, and soon-to-be KBCC 89.5 FM, Tracy, California. Joining me in the studio, as always, are my best friends and co-hosts, Brian Rodriguez.
Hello.
And Parker Spurlin.
Howdy.
Now, the Phone Booth No Comment is basically the same thing as our Saturday morning program, the Phone Booth, only instead of talking about the news aspects of pop culture, movies, video games, TV shows, etc., we kind of just have more discussion pieces, you know?
We get to fly like Goose and cut loose, hang back, Jack, here we are.
Goose died.
Not talking about the act. I'm not talking about Top Gun, even though that's my favorite movie. I'm talking about Goose, the actual flying floppy
Well,
thing.
who refers to it as just goose? Like you say a goose.
Goose.
No,
The goose is loose like a moose. So a moose is loose. Did you know that? He's loose. And so here we are today talking about some good old-fashioned sci-fi things that we all enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Such as, here we have today three things. I mean, look at our script. Look at this.
Yeah,
thing.
it's 9 whole words.
9.
Some
It's
of us
important.
Some of us argued it didn't need to be printed out. Some
I
argued that
felt
it was a waste
it needed
of
to.
A majority of us.
I like a good script.
I'm
I'm
not
sorry.
gonna- I'm not-
I cannot do unscripted.
Even if you needed a script, why did you say we needed to print out 3 of them?
I just wanted a script.
You said 3.
You printed yourself a script.
And
It just-
so-
You
I'm
said
not
print
gonna-
out 3 scripts.
I don't know.
We're not going to point any fingers, Ed. So here we are.
yeah,
today.
no, I point the finger at myself. I wanted these scripts printed out.
But don't forget, when you point a finger at someone, there's 3 pointing right back at you. Hardcore. And so here what we have today, we have 3 things on the list. Rise of Skywalker review. So before we go any further, let's do a little disclaimer and say that this, if you didn't notice in our title thing, it said spoilers.
Yes.
Spoilers. So if you
We will be spoiling this movie, so if you haven't seen it, get out.
spoilers,
Get out now.
Go
Run
watch
away.
it. Go watch
Throw
it.
your computer in a bathtub.
Go watch it, or maybe
Or your phone,
or
or wherever you're watching this.
Don't. If you want to see it for yourself and have all the twists and turns.
Yes, we saw what Nick Wright said.
Yeah, he wants to give a shout out to Canadian gooses. Those are Canada's gooses.
And he's leaving because he hasn't seen it yet. Get out, Sharky.
Get out.
Run.
Go. Go watch it. What are you doing? Just go. So we have that. We also have the Watchmen finale review, and again, spoilers ahoy.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna be talking about that. So if you don't, I expect this to be our lowest watched episode, and that's fine.
Yeah. Now, I'm afraid that I'm not really too familiar with either one, anything on the script today, so I'm probably going to be in a bit of the back burner, so I'm just going to let you guys have control of the episode for today.
Oh,
And
that's dangerous.
And lastly, I will be, for all of you fanboys, or not fanboys, or want to be fanboys of Halo, I will give you the get down on the lowdown of some
You know
Halo.
what? I'm just going to move over a second because the framing's weird.
Get down on the lowdown of Lord Chungus is kind of in his own right today. So
Yeah, something happened to him. He's been dimensionally transposed. I don't know.
And so now what we have, we'll have a little bit of Halo, the game series Halo terms, right coming at you live, hot from the studio, right here with you. So now, let's Brian, let's talk about. So now that I'm kind of done with this, let's talk about
Let's talk about Rise of Skywalker first. Spoilers in 10,
9,
8, get out,
7, 6, 5.
Seriously, leave.
Go right now. 4, 3, 2.
Last chance.
Seriously, last chance right now. We're gonna spoil it. 1. Spoilers ahead. So here we don't say we didn't warn you. We gave you like 3, and if you don't like that, then go.
Mm-hmm. We warned you yesterday.
Okay.
We warned you in the title for this. We warned you once. Here we gave you a countdown.
So don't complain to us. So, Rise of Skywalker.
I hated it.
He hated it.
I hated it.
I've been, like I said, I saw it with my girlfriend, and I gotta say, I don't, I'm still kind of I'm kind of in still a shock, if that's a...
You're still digesting it.
Yeah, I'm still kind of digesting this, you know. I'm more optimistic about it. I want to say it was good, but it wasn't. It's not the greatest Star Wars movie, but is it better than the prequels?
It's better than Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace. I think it's at the same level as Revenge of the Sith.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a spicy take on that one.
And see, Revenge of the Sith, I think, is the best of the prequels, but it's still a prequel.
Mm-hmm.
But
I hate to chime in, but I just decided to go on Rotten Tomatoes real quick to check out the current score for The Rise of Skywalker, and right now it has a critic score of 57% with an audience score of 86%.
Yep.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's about what I give it. I give it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know?
I want to give it more higher, but not too high. Not too high.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like a 7. I got a 7.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's good, and it's not. It's not great.
Well, we've got a 5 and a 7, and if you're really bad at math, like fundamentally, you can get 57 out of that.
If you add those two numbers together, you can get 57 somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But what was the main? Okay, so let's talk about. You have a little. He has a little bit of a. He has a big boy script.
If I don't write things down, I forget them.
He forgets them.
And I sound like a moron.
Yes, he'll sound like me. So
let's start with the structure, the actual scenes and their composition in the movie. It felt less like a one movie and more like they took a bunch of scenes from different movies and just sort of strung them together. Like 1 second there, Kylo Ren's fighting through this forest to get a thing. We don't know what this planet is, why that thing is there at all, and suddenly he's with Palpatine on another planet. Where did Palpatine come from? We don't know. Don't ask questions. Now with Rey on what looks like Endor but isn't Endor, and there's this rapid training montage that takes like 2 minutes, but we're also cutting between her and Kylo Ren. It's like, what is happening? What is happening? This is like the first 7 minutes of the movie. There have been 3 different planets, like 5 different scenes. It's too fast.
Yeah.
It's too fast.
I would agree. I think that, it was definitely the first couple of minutes was like, okay, we're here, we're there, we're here, we're there, we're here, we're there, we're going places,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have too much of a problem with that first couple of minutes. I was like, okay, well, they're just it's all establishing, and it's a lot of establishment. And yeah, if you're not familiar with the Star Wars, like, I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying, like,
if you aren't,
if you aren't, it would be one hell of a, it would be one heck of a time on that one,
Yeah. Also, certain plot points just get set up with no payoff. Like at one point when they're about to die, Finn says he needs to tell Rey something, and they get cut off.
And the whole movie, we have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, it's never revealed. It's good old J.J. Abrams writing.
Yeah, they bring it up like 3 times, but halfway through the movie they just drop it, and it's never brought up again. It's never revealed what he wants to say, and it just... nothing. Yeah. They cut the payoff, which is like classic J.J. Abrams, and the mystery is more important than the solution. No, it isn't.
And so, here we are. What was... So that was kind of the beginning part. What was your biggest gripes?
Oh, my biggest gripe isn't with any individual part of the movie, but what the movie represents, which is basically to try to retcon The Last Jedi as much as possible. And it's from everything from, the origin of Rey's parents to, Rose being a glorified cameo with like 2 lines despite being set up as an important character to, how Last Jedi pointed out that the Jedi were kind of mess-ups and maybe you shouldn't be following their example to the letter. Yeah, no, now Rey is just, the ultimate Jedi following, thousands of years of tradition, even though thousands of years of tradition led to the destruction of the Jedi.
Yeah, and well, the thing I totally agree with you on the Rose thing, because I didn't like the fact that she got side shifted.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone has ever known me, is that I didn't like the forced romance between Finn and Rose, but I liked Rose as a character.
Yeah,
it's just that, and then how she got kind of side shifted to the back of this is like, really, like, she's kind of as much as I hated the B plot in Last Jedi, she's still a important part of it.
Yeah, I didn't like the kiss at the end. I actually liked the idea of a romance between them, but I felt like if they could have built on that in this movie, Maybe
Yeah.
that would have been great, but no, Rose is there for like 2 scenes. It's really just there, so it feels like it was just there so J.J. Abrams and Disney didn't get accused of getting rid of Kelly Marie Tran because of the backlash.
And the worst part is like, they didn't even kind of. I didn't like the kiss, yeah, but unfortunately, I kind of wish that they had. There was no the interaction she had with Finn, even, and it's very small and brief. There was no romantic feel. There was no,
Yeah, there was like the first scene of them together, the first of 2. I thought maybe there's romance, but now that I'm thinking, maybe I was just trying to read deeper into it because I desperately wanted there to be some connection to hey, Last Jedi actually happened, people.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you could literally watch this movie. You could watch The Rise of Skywalker without ever having seen The Last Jedi, and it would not make one iota of difference.
Yeah, and speaking of kisses.
Oh, yeah. This is a different talking point for him.
I hated this. Rey and Ben, because, okay, spoiler, Kylo Ren gets redeemed back to Ben Solo. That's, it's a thing we probably all saw coming at some point, because we know the new Star Wars movies, or at least J.J. Abrams, follow the old movies to the letter.
To the point.
Yes. Rey and Kylo Ren share a kiss. And then he dies. And, okay, I'm sorry. Did you ever get a romantic undertone from their relationship?
It's hard because I was like, maybe, and again, maybe I'm doing the same thing where I was, hindsight, trying to read deeper into it, which I was like, maybe there was, like, when they fought in the earlier movies, there was some kind of sexual tension. Maybe there's something there. And then I'm looking at it now. Not really.
But their last interaction before the scene where this happened was her almost murdering him because she thought he was irredeemable. It's because, yes, there was a through line of her trying to redeem him in The Last Jedi, but he was just so fundamentally broken and evil. And I'm not saying he didn't deserve redemption. I actually kind of liked his redemption
That was
arc.
a good redemption part.
But I never felt any romance between them because, again, it was constantly them trying to murder each other. And that is not the basis for any good relationship.
Yeah. I would agree. The problem, the problem that I felt with that is the romance, just like it's, now that I think about it, the romance between those two wasn't earned. Same thing with, be hypocritical for me to say, well, Finn and Rose wasn't earned, but then to turn around and say Ben and Rey were earned because there wasn't any build up to this. There wasn't any,
It was fan service. It was fan service, plain and simple, which is most of what this movie is. It's less a movie and more of a collection of, hey, you remember those cool things from the original trilogy or those moments you desperately wanted? Yeah, we're doing that. Like, oh, look, Rey is pulling Luke's X-Wing out of the water like an Empire. Remember Empire? That was such a good movie. No, don't go watch Empire now. Keep watching our movie.
Keep watching. And the problem, there's a lot of callbacks. And the worst part to me was, like, how many times the audience got faked out.
There were 5 death fake outs. 5!
Like,
we have somebody chiming in. Nelly Zapian just chimed in, saying Rian Johnson should have cut that half-hour Canto Bite nonsense in The Last Jedi and instead explore the backstory of the Knights of Ren. Then they would have been that much more scary / memorable in Rise of Skywalker.
I actually agree with you there. I don't think all of Canto Bite should have been cut because I do think there were some good moments in Canto Bite. DJ is, I still think, one of my favorite new characters, despite the fact that, he was on screen for 30 minutes.
Oh, is that
that was
Antonio, Benicio del Toro.
Benicio del Toro.
Oh, I loved him.
Yeah, and I think there were some good themes of Canto Bite, like maybe not all the evil in this galaxy is strictly, the Sith or the First Order. There are just, other bad people.
And, maybe it's not so, and well, to me, I was like, it was not so clear cut, Bad guys don't wear Empire uniforms. Bad guys wear suit and ties and they sell things.
Yeah, but there was too much. Like, there was this entire thing where Finn was, like, getting seduced by the casino that was, like, there for no reason. It didn't set anything up and didn't really further his character at all. And then it was just gone. There's that entire chase scene with the... fog eaters? Fog walkers?
I don't remember.
The weird horse camel things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do believe Canto Bight should have been cut. I do wish there had been more exploration of the Knights of Ren. Because the Knights of Ren, when they were first revealed in The Force Awakens and the Periphery material, they were really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because they really got no explanation. I thought maybe they were some of Luke's other students that, rebelled with Kylo Ren. But yeah, no explanation for them. They're there. None of them have any speaking lines in Rise of Skywalker. And they go out like punks.
Yeah.
None of them have lightsabers. They all have these weird...
Electric shock thing?
like one of them has an axe, one of them has a spear, I think one had a whip.
Yeah.
And it's all of these have been done in lightsaber form in Star Wars at some point. Why not just give them lightsabers? Especially since you're in a dark room with darkly dressed individuals. Give them something so we have a better chance of seeing the actual action here. I forgot what I was talking about. I started yelling.
And then... we were talking about Rise of Skywalker, buddy.
That's right.
And so, the thing about Skywalker... yeah, so there's like 5 or 6...
there were 5 death fake-outs. There was... okay, we're going to go
Chewie.
through them. There was Chewbacca on the exploding transport, but he turned out to be alive. There was C-3PO getting his memories wiped, but he turned out to be alive. And got his memories back, which you can argue whether that was a death fake-out, but it was his entire brain being destroyed, so I'd say, yeah.
yeah.
There was the Kylo Ren death fake-out, but Rey healed him. There was Zori and Babu Frick on the... I don't remember the name of the planet that gets destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
But they both turn out to be alive. I'm counting that as one because they're both barely characters. And then there was Rey's death fake out at the very end, but Kylo Ren heals her back. 5 death fake outs in one movie. You get 1 death fake out per movie, okay? You get 1. You don't get to do 5.
That was a lot. I would have been okay with the Chewbacca death scene.
Yeah.
I was like, I would have been... that was an impactful moment. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, wow, like they killed off Chewbacca.
And see, I was watching that and I was genuinely upset because I thought it was going to stick, but I forgot that this isn't Rian Johnson, this is J.J. Abrams. Nothing matters. There are no actual stakes. There's just the illusion of stakes.
It's like, oh.
Like, no, oh, Chewbacca's dead. This, there's actual consequences. No. Oh, C-3PO had his mind wiped for the greater good. This is, such a tragic character. No. Oh, I mean, Zori and Babu Frick are on a planet that gets blown up. I guess, they're only peripheral characters, but, they're gone. No. Oh, Kylo Ren, the big villain of the franchise, gets killed off before the fight with Palpatine. I guess that makes sense. Maybe he doesn't deserve redemption. No.
Nope.
Oh, Rey, Rey, the big hero, dies to save the galaxy. Maybe, it's Kylo Ren that will take him. No. It's none of this mattered. There were no actual stakes.
I felt like, and I didn't think that Finn had a lot to do with the story as much as this one either.
Yeah, I do like that they sort of fleshed out his relationship with Poe because even the Last Jedi had the problem where they'd spoken for like 5 minutes and escaped together, and then suddenly they were best friends.
Buddy,
Yeah, and I mean, I get that they're friendly because you escape Imperial imprisonment together. I guess you form a bond there.
Yeah.
But I do like that they're they sort of expanded on their friendship and sort of put it through minor trials, I guess.
Yeah. I enjoyed that. Well, and I like in the beginning, there's like that beginning part where they're kind of on the Endor planet, but it's not the Endor planet.
Yeah, Endor, Yavin, whatever planet.
It's a bunch of trees and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I like how they have that one scene where they're all kind of fighting. Like, that was a good scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you felt like there was like some actual tension. They were actually arguing. It wasn't playful. It was like, no, but these are some serious stakes here.
Yeah, Rey and Poe actually got some sort of interaction longer than 10 seconds, and it's clear that while they're not enemies, they're not necessarily friends.
Yeah. And like, but I like how Finn, he sides with, Poe. He's like, well, he's right. I like how there's that part. I was like, oh, okay, so this is an interesting, that's a good dynamic,
Mm-hmm.
It's not so like, oh, we're all friends and we're all gonna destroy everything. It's like,
Yeah.
It's like, just do what I told you to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you gotta be over here doing this. You're not here with us. You don't care about it. And it's like, I love that whole dynamic.
Can I talk about something though? And it's J.J. Abrams' need to add way too much. Like, look at all these planets he added. He added the new Resistance base that's identical to Endor or Yavin 4, but isn't either of those because J.J. Abrams wanted to add a new planet. There's the new desert planet that could be, Tatooine or even Jakku, but isn't because J.J. Abrams wanted to add a new planet. There's Exegol, the big Sith planet, which, okay, That's actually a good addition, I think. I could have been... Actually, no, it could have been Korriban. Why wasn't it Korriban, the, ancient homeworld of the Sith? Why wasn't it Korriban, J.J. Abrams?
Because he doesn't follow the lore.
Yeah, and then... But he needs to add so much. And look at all these characters. Like, there's one Slug Hut-looking guy that gets referenced once that's on the Millennium Falcon for some reason. No idea what he's up. Dominic Monaghan's in this movie. I don't think they ever name his character. He's like some sort of resistant comms guy. But he's there in a few scenes. He doesn't need to be there. There's Greg Grunberg, and as much as I love Greg Grunberg, and the fact that his character has actually been in all three of these movies, he's still there and still kind of... He's there.
You know what my favorite... like one of my favorite Star Wars movies is... It's like my second... It's kind of my second favorite. Second favorite Star Wars movie is Rogue One. You know why? Because they flesh out everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a story, and it's a good, everybody has a purpose. And everybody has a solid character behind them.
And see, I'm gonna go back to The Last Jedi because I'm not hiding the fact that I love Last Jedi. Last Jedi introduced 3 new characters we were supposed to care about. They introduced DJ, who was well fleshed out, and we got to know his character. They introduced Holdo, that was well fleshed out, and we got to know her character. And there was Rose, who was well fleshed out. We got to know her character. Even I'd kind of argue Snoke too, because he appeared in Force Awakens, but he was just sort of a hologram guy.
Yeah.
And Snoke, we did actually get some fleshing out of his character, even if it was completely undone by this movie.
And the other thing that I enjoyed, the thing that I have a problem with is, and it goes back to J.J. Abrams too, is in the. And everyone blames this for it, but I think it goes back to the Force Awakens, which was who is the commander of the the one with the like shiny
Phasma?
Phasma.
Oh God, I forgot about Phasma. Phasma.
Like that was all she was cool. I was like, oh, like who is this character? We never got to know her, and then she just dies in The Last Jedi. I was like, well, they kill her off. I was like, well, blame J.J. Abrams. He's supposed to set her up.
Yeah, she was, and it's the thing is, in pre-release stuff, J.J. Abrams builds up all these people. Like Captain Phasma was supposed to be this big, hyper-important character. She appears once at the beginning, and at the end she gets thrown into a trash compactor. And then in The Last Jedi, they actually do give her a little bit more, characterization, but then she gets killed because there's no point for her. There's no point to Phasma, which sucks because she could have been an interesting character.
Oh, I think that could have been interesting, and well, especially with the Finn. That would have been cool if like there should have been a better showdown for Finn and Phasma, because Phasma is just kind of, we see her as an integral part to Finn before in the Force Awakens? Yeah, The Force Awakens. But it's never. But then they never really talk about. He never really talks about that. I think that would have been cool if that would have been a good a good rivalry between the two. A good force to be reckoned with between those. Yeah,
if she had been set up properly, or it's like Zori's character in Rise of Skywalker. Carrie Russell plays her, and J.J. Abrams made this big deal about, we have to keep her character a secret because she's so important to the plot and she's so important to Poe's backstory. And it turns out Poe used to be a spice runner, which is like cocaine in Star Wars, and she knew him, and Poe left it behind, and she didn't like it, and end of character importance. She was not at all important to the plot in any way.
That's the problem with like J.J. Abrams. Really good setups. Can't knock it down.
Yeah.
Can't develop. Can't knock down these things. He's really banking on the old developed characters, to carry this through.
And what angers me most about this is there were so many questions that J.J. Abrams set up in Force Awakens that he admitted he didn't have an answer to. He didn't know who Snoke was. He didn't know who Rey's parents were. And then when someone came along and answered them in The Last Jedi, like Rian Johnson did, J.J. Abrams looked at them, I don't like those answers. I'm gonna do new ones. So let's get into some of those answers.
Again, spoiler, we find out that Rey has some lineage.
Yeah.
She's a Palpatine.
Yes, she is Emperor Palpatine's granddaughter, which take a second and think about the fact that for the timeline to work out, Palpatine had to have sex with someone in his wrinkly form.
And his
Do it.
like during the episode 5 and episode 6.
Yeah, maybe in like the break between 3 and 4, but it's for this to work. He had to. Palpatine was in his wrinkly form when this happened.
Huh?
See, I was expecting it to be like she was, say, like some sort of clone of Palpatine, an imperfect clone, because in the Aftermath novels that came out around, Last Jedi, Force Awakens, it was shown that Palpatine had some sort of important facility on Jakku that needed to be protected. And I thought, okay, maybe it's a cloning facility. Rey is maybe an escaped clone, or she's part of some larger plan by Palpatine to take over her body and rule, or something like that. Yeah, no, apparently she's just his granddaughter, though that take over her body thing turned out to be true, which was odd.
That's strange.
Yeah, it was weird. Also, Rey's a Palpatine, which it gets into this entire thing of it doesn't matter who your family is, your family is who you make of it. But it also kind of goes against the idea from The Last Jedi that, it doesn't matter who your family is, you can be a hero no matter what. But at the end, it's Rey decides she doesn't want to be a Palpatine, she wants to be a Skywalker. So it does matter who your family is, but you can just sort of choose how important you want your family to be, seems to be the message there.
It's a strange. I was kind of like, oh, yeah, and I was kind of thinking about the title. At first, I thought, it would have been cooler because it made sense in the title, "The Rise of Skywalker," if it was Ben.
Yeah,
because Ben's an actual Skywalker, in some, to some degree. Leia, through Leia, he's the grandfather of. He's the grandson of Darth Vader.
Also, can I point out how stupid it is for what was touted as the end of the Skywalker saga to have a title implying that the Skywalkers are nowhere near done? That's just so... What is that marketing even?
The Rise of Skywalker. But I was like, okay, I was thinking at the end of the movie, I was like, oh, maybe Ben will have, it's the redemption that's the rise of the Skywalker. It's a solo rise of a Skywalker. And no. Yeah. They just throw that around. They're like, "Oh nope, boop, fooled you." And now it's Rey, but Rey's not a Skywalker; she's Palpatine. So it should have been the rise of Palpatine, and that would have been more.
Yeah, and it makes no sense. Where Palpatine came from, we don't know. He's just sort of there, and we get this throwaway line that the dark side of the Force allows you abilities that some would consider unnatural, but he's hooked up to a bunch of machines which make it seem like it's not really the dark side of the Force, it's the magical technology in this universe. Like, did he somehow survive getting thrown into the Death Star and float there? Did he put himself in a clone body like in the expanded universe? We're kind of hinted that he did that because I'm guessing those people that he's in the arena that he has are clones of him. Maybe? Yeah, we never get it. Like, he has...
But we see cloning technology?
Yeah, because Snoke, it turns out, was a puppet of Palpatine. And we don't actually get to know whether that's literal, because Palpatine says that Snoke was simply a puppet that he controlled across the galaxy, and it's unclear if that's literal, like Palpatine was actually puppeteering a body through the Force across the galaxy, which, given how powerful Palpatine is something he could actually do, or if it was Snoke was just, a clone that obeyed orders from Palpatine. And that's unclear, and neither explanation is actually that good, because in other works, it's already been shown that Snoke existed before the First Order and before the rise of the Empire, so has Palpatine been puppeting Snoke bodies for no apparent reason for, 60 years at this point? Why? What is any of this? Who are the followers? How did Palpatine have the resources and manpower to have a giant secret fleet of Star Destroyers, hundreds
You're thinking
strong?
about that one, you're thinking way too hard about it. It's a Star Wars story, just go with it.
But that would require millions of people to staff all those ships.
You're thinking about it, you gotta just... On that one, just go with the flow on that one.
It's
just... I had the same questions, I had the same questions. I don't know why. I'm still confused on. Wait, how did he survive? I want to know. I'm more interested. How did you survive the Death Star?
Mm-hmm. And it's made a big deal that the only way to find Exegol is through these wayfinders. Well, it's shown that these wayfinders, there are only 2 of them, and they're hidden. So how did anyone else get to Exegol? I mean, okay, maybe Palpatine had a secret third one, but did he just, like, he used it to get there, he sends people out, he brings them in one by one over the last 30 years to build up this... What is happening?
And then, so that was kind of weird, and I'm still kind of mixed on it. I don't know how to feel about it.
And see, it upsets me because Palpatine was one of the best parts of this movie. Every scene with Palpatine was, I thought, amazing.
It was great.
Because Ian McDiarmid has got Palpatine down to an art form over the last 40
Palpatine,
years.
I think, who is it? The Red Letter Media basically said it best. Palpatine is just someone who just loves being bad.
Yeah.
He loves the dark side.
There's no good in him, and he just... that's actually kind of fun in a character. And this movie finally shows off how powerful Palpatine is, because at one point there's a giant rebel fleet attacking the giant Star Destroyer fleet. Palpatine points his hands up and unleashes this sky full of force lightning to take out the entire rebel fleet.
That is how powerful this guy is.
And for someone who's always been said to be the most powerful Sith ever to live, it's nice to, in the movies, finally see, okay, yes, because in the original movies, he shoots Luke with some lightning and gets thrown into a hole.
Have you ever heard the story of Darth Plagueis?
In the prequels, he and Yoda jump around the Senate building, and then Yoda falls into a hole.
Yep.
There's a lot of hole falling. Even in this one, because Kylo Ren gets
down
thrown
a
by
hole.
Palpatine into a hole.
It seems to be a theme in Star Wars, being thrown down holes. And thrown from high
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Han Solo fall down a hole in Force Awakens? After he got
Yes,
stabbed?
he got stabbed and thrown... Wow. There are a lot of holes in Star Wars.
And not only that, so Sarlacc pit, if you count that one.
Yeah, Sarlacc's a big hungry hole.
Yeah, big hungry hole. Boba Fett fell through that one.
Leia fell through a hole in space and then used the Force to come back.
Well, that's not really a hole. That's more of a window
it's
breaking.
a technicality.
And it's not too much fall. It's got sucked out.
So what's your verdict on this one?
Like I said, 5 out of 10, if I'm being generous. This movie exists to invalidate this entire trilogy. Because The Force Awakens wasn't there to really be the start of a trilogy. It was there to bring up the nostalgia. And I kind of appreciate that The Force Awakens did that. Because after the prequels, fans needed, something really good that they could sink their teeth into, even if it was a glorified remake of A New Hope.
I will say this. Okay, I will say this. One more point to add. That the ending, I felt, was, it was powerful and all that stuff. Yeah, I get the Palpatine. But I feel like the way, Palpatine's, how he went out was kind of not as spectacular as I thought he should have.
Yeah.
It's very like, I am the chosen one, and then they just...
Yeah, Rey reflects his Force lightning back at him, which could have been prevented if he stopped shooting Force lightning.
Why does he always do that?
Yeah, because the first time he died...
Didn't that happen with, Mace Windu in Episode 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he needs to learn to stop shooting Force lightning. All his problems would be solved if he learned to stop shooting Force lightning all the time. We get it. It's very powerful, and we get that he's very proud of it. We saw what he could do with it. But at a certain point, just stop and move away a little.
Just take a...
Throw a lightsaber. We know you have them.
And so, and that's what the problem was. I felt like, it's a Star Wars movie. I felt like at the end there should have been a little bit more lightsaber work at the end, to finish it off.
Because we know Palpatine used 2 lightsabers, and the Clone War series, which the parts of it that are in canon, we saw him fight off Darth Maul and his brother in this massive, epic duel between the 3 of them. It was awesome. Why couldn't we have gotten something like that?
I know, and so I'm like, that's, and then we kind of went out with a simmer rather than a bang.
Yeah, he melted. He got vaporized, and I'm not even sure that's actually the end of Palpatine, because we got no explanation of how he came back.
Get ready for Star Wars 15, The Rise of Solo. The Rise of...
Star Wars 39, Palpatine's back, this time with a vengeance.
Star Wars Episode 12, Revenge. I've never done that, so...
yeah, and
I did like that. I didn't like that too much, but I did like, the lightsaber duels that did happen felt a little bit more, they felt like a lightsaber duel, and it felt deserved.
This trilogy has had the best lightsaber duels, I think, and we finally got Kylo Ren using those stupid lightsaber cross guards.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
we finally
it only took 3 movies, but he finally used them.
I love we get to see how powerful that the Jedi's have, how powerful Rey is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love the part where she grabs the transport out of the air.
Yeah.
And she starts pulling it. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
And I love the scene at the end where Rey is being contacted by the voices of all the dead Jedi, because it got cameos from Hayden Christensen and Samuel L. Jackson and Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor, and it even got appearances by the voices of Ahsoka and Kanan from Rebels and the Clone Wars. That was awesome. It had Ayla Secura, who didn't even get a speaking role in the movies, but did in Clone Wars.
Yeah.
That was actually a really cool acknowledgement that this is a big universe.
The only thing I wish they had done with more of that is I wish that, you remember that scene where she looks out and she sees Luke and Leia as ghosts? Wouldn't it be cool if you saw all the Jedi? You saw Qui-Gon Jinn, you saw you saw all the Jedi that we've seen throughout the prequels and the Clone Wars and the rest of the universe. We saw all Obi-Wan Kenobi, everybody. And
I get that some of the actors didn't want to come for that, but you'd think they could get Yoda, because that's just a puppet.
Yeah, and come on, I would have done it. If I was Liam Neeson, I would have done it.
Yeah.
I would have been you know what?
Because Liam Neeson, the big movie star, came back to do a few episodes for the Clone Wars as a voice role. Liam Neeson loves this.
Yeah, he loves being Qui-Gon. And he didn't get too much of a. I mean, he was always my favorite in the prequels. I just love Qui-Gon Jinn. I thought he was a good character, but man, I wish they had done a little bit more with Qui-Gon Jinn's character throughout Star Wars. But
yeah. But ultimately, I don't like this movie because, again, Force Awakens was there not to really move it forward, but to make fans feel better. And Last Jedi tried to move the series forward, but got so much backlash that they made an entire movie to invalidate it. So you've got a nothing movie, a movie that tried to do something, and a movie that exists to undo the first movie. So essentially, when those two cancel each other out, you've guessed out The Force Awakens, that's a nothing movie. So nothing happened here. Nothing happened in this sequel trilogy to move Star Wars forward as a franchise, as an idea. It's just there to exist, it feels like. At least, even if you hate the prequels, you have to admit they were trying to do something.
It felt I love the prequels. I love is because they felt like actual wars. They were Star Wars.
Yeah, the prequels tried to explore the Jedi and why they fell and how a democracy can fall to dictatorship, and how well they did that is, arguable.
Yeah.
But they tried, and that's, I think, the worst thing about the sequel trilogy and The Rise of Skywalker as a singular movie is it doesn't try.
So, wrapping up, your final score.
4, maybe 5, probably a 4.
4. I probably give it maybe a 6 out of 10. Good. They try a little bit, but they went back to the roots. Unfortunately, it didn't work. So to wrap that up, onto another surprisingly good.
Yeah. To another finale this week.
Another finale.
One of 3, and 2 of them are Watchmen related.
Yeah. So, Watchmen.
Watchmen, the TV series.
Watchmen, the TV, not the movie. The TV series.
And not Doomsday Clock, which we're not going to talk about here, except for I'd say the finale sucked. It was bad, and I hated it. But you know what I didn't hate? I didn't hate the Watchmen TV finale.
We did not hate that.
I was actually surfing Rotten Tomatoes. I actually have the score for the season overall, and I also have the review score for the last episode of Watchmen. Which one would you gentlemen like to hear first?
Let's hear for the last episode and then for the show as a whole.
Okay. The episode was titled "See How They Fly," correct?
Yes.
Okay. So far, that has a tomato score of 92%.
Yep.
Yeah. As for the show overall, it has a critic score of 96%, with an audience score of 52%.
Yeah, that confuses me because I don't know about you, but most of what I've been seeing about it has been really positive, even from non-critics.
Well, and the only time I see anything negative is on YouTube, but
Yeah, and I'm guessing because I'm guessing it's harder for Rotten Tomatoes to enforce a policy of you have to prove you've seen it for things like TV shows because you don't get a ticket for a TV show.
Yeah.
I'm guessing there's a lot more people that don't exactly like the politics of Watchmen because it is a political show. It is. It doesn't try to shy away from it. It doesn't try to say,
but you know what? So was The Watchmen.
Yeah, Watchmen itself was highly political.
Yeah. I would like to say that the episodes in total, each individual one has a critics review score that is over 90. The two lowest episodes would be episode 9, See How They Fly, at 92%, and episode 7, An Almost Religious Awe, with the same score of 92%. With the highest episode being episode 8, A God Walks Into a Bar, with 100%.
A God Walks Into a Bar.
Into a bar.
Tied with episode 3, She Was Killed by Space Junk, which also sits at 100.
Yep. And yeah, I'd argue those are two of the best episodes.
Those are the good episodes right there.
Mm-hmm.
I loved episode 5 though.
Episode 5?
Yeah, that's the one where they look at more into Looking Glass.
Yeah.
It was a really good character.
Episode 6 is probably my all-time favorite of this show, where they go back into the past of Hooded Justice.
Yeah, that was a really good episode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this show is just really great.
So now that it's all wrapped up, I kind of want to ask, what was the overall involvement of Dr. Manhattan in the show?
He was so critical, but so hidden for... Okay, so again, we are going to get into spoilers here, though it's something we've already spoiled before on past episodes, but just in case you want to leave. So Dr. Manhattan turned out to be the husband of the main character, Angela Abar. However, it turned out that in order to be with her without it being, super complicated and, ruining their relationship because he can see their entire relationship at once, he got a device from Ozymandias that blocked his memories and made him think he was a regular human. So he became Calvin Jelani.
Yeah, Calvin Jelani.
Or I think then he became Calvin Abar. I'm not 100% sure on that. So he was, he was married to Angela. And for the first, 6 episodes of the series, he's just Cal. He's the guy that's there. He's the guy that's married to Angela. He's, he's a relaxing force on them. He's, a little awkward with their kids and a little too honest, which actually makes more sense now.
Because, that's Dr. Manhattan.
Mm-hmm. It's parts of it.
Especially, it's kind of foreshadowing when he's like, well, what happens? They ask, the kids ask him, like, what happens when you're dead? Mm-hmm. And he goes, well, there's nothing. He's like, oh, it's kind of a voidless pit, and you just kind of die, and you're in the ground, and there's nothing before you, and there's nothing after you.
Yeah, because that's how Dr. Manhattan sees it. And we got hints that there was something wrong with Cal as soon as, episode 3 at the beginning, where we see, the White Night that happened in the past, where the 7th Cavalry attacked all these police officers, and one guy has Angela dead to rights, and she passes out, and then she wakes up in a hospital. And the only other person in the house was Cal, so there's something going on with Cal.
Yeah.
And then it references an accident he had that they're not telling anyone about.
Yeah.
And, there are hints there, but not... And again, there are hints for his true identity, but it was still such a mind blow when they revealed he's Dr. Manhattan. He's dead now.
Oh, what?
Yeah, they killed Dr. Manhattan.
They killed
How
the
is
god.
that possible?
The Lady True, who's the big, trillionaire genius, and it turns out Ozymandias' daughter.
Oh.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So it turns out that her plan... with the big, millennium clock she was building, it turns out is a quantum centrifuge, I believe she called it, which is essentially, it will siphon all of Dr. Manhattan's power out of him, though since Dr. Manhattan is essentially made of his power, it would kill him, and it would, spin it up, it would centrifuge it, it would filter it, and it would go into Lady True, and she'd become the new Dr. Manhattan.
And which originally was going to be used, they had the technology, the 7th Cavalry had the technology.
Yeah, and I actually kind of like that, because it shows the 7th Cavalry, they build this cage for Dr. Manhattan in an abandoned store, and they've got this, rustic-looking pod that's just going to filter all his power into them. And then you see True come in and explain it, and it's almost cute that they thought they could do this.
Yeah.
It's cute that they thought they had the ability or the power or the knowledge to do this, when they were really nothing. Compared to the bigger threats out, and that's a great theme of Watchmen. Is there's this they're looking for the 7th Cavalry. They're trying to stop the 7th Cavalry, and while in Watchmen they're looking for the comedian's killer, and no one sees the bigger threat that is Ozymandias, or I guess Ozymandias' daughter this time.
Yeah, everyone just kind of lays it in the chat. The real threat is not as looming as this insignificant threat, you know.
And can I point out that Ozymandias ended the show kind of in the same way he ended the comic, where he dropped squid in some form on a populated area. Only this time it was the tiny squid that he's been dropping on them to create the illusion of, interdimensional attacks, except he froze them.
So now they're bullets.
Yeah, so, squid, they have that arrow shape. Imagine those frozen, dropping straight down from the atmosphere on a populated area. It crushed cars. It pierced through people's heads
at terminal velocity, which is 120 miles per hour.
Yeah, it was.
Oh no!
He was essentially firing Gatling guns from the heavens.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically shoving down arrows from the heavens.
Yes,
and I think I was like, okay, so he's doing the same thing where the overpopulation suffers for the greater good. You know?
Yeah, and it's it's actually referenced that he's doing a rerun.
Yeah.
So him dropping tiny squids is just sort of him redoing what he already did, and it's a wider commentary on fans' initial reactions to Watchmen, and that this is just them redoing it.
Yeah.
Which in some ways it was. There were a lot of story beats and character motivations and characters that were the same, but I think Damon Lindelof did put well when he said it was a remix, not a remake.
Yeah, it's a remix. I was like, okay. And the crazy part to me wasn't that Dr. Manhattan died. I mean, that was like, whoa, that was pretty crazy. To me, the craziest part was Ozymandias getting arrested.
Yeah, he gets... When this is all over, Laurie Blake, the old Silk Spectre and now FBI agent, she arrests him because she has the proof she needs to reveal that, he dropped a giant squid on New York. He killed 3 million people in, the largest terrorist attack in human history.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and he gets arrested, he gets knocked out, and it's implied he's going to trial.
It's basically like the Nuremberg trial for one man.
Yeah, and at the end, Dr. Manhattan's dead. However, they set up in the least subtle foreshadowing in this show, they set up that he could transfer his power into a biological thing, like, say, an egg. And it turns out that earlier Angela destroyed a carton of eggs, but one managed to survive. So she eats it raw. She cracks it open and swallows it. And it was disgusting. But anyway, she does that and she walks out to her pool and she takes a step, her foot hovering over the water, cut to black.
End of episode. End of season.
Now, they have confirmed, Damon Lindelof has confirmed that if that scene had gone on, it would have shown her walking on water. She does have Dr. Manhattan's powers, but they felt it was more powerful to just cut the scene there. Which if you're just going to confirm it afterwards, why
not just confirm it?
I show it.
Yeah, just show her just setting foot on water and then cut to black.
Yeah.
Because it's you sort of set it up as this mystery and then immediately said, there's no mystery there. This is what happened.
All right. Well, and
that's the one creative decision of the show I kind of disagree with.
I was like, yeah. I loved how Looking Glass came back.
Yeah, because it was a very clever detail, because in episode 7, they show Petey walking through the dead bodies of all the 7th Cavalry, and then he lingers slightly on the only one missing a mask, and I completely just sort of put that detail in the background. But then, because it turns out Looking Glass stole that mask and has been hiding among the 7th Cavalry.
Yeah, that's a really good. Little detail that they had right there. And we did find out what PD was.
Yes, it was revealed in the. They've been doing a thing called PDpedia Online, which is kind of like the newspaper articles and files filtered through the original Watchmen comic that gave more context to the show. It turns out PD was Lube Man. Now, I don't know if we actually discussed Lube Man in our past reviews, but at one point, Angela is doing something as Sister Night in her Sister Night attire, and she turns around and she's being walked by this guy dressed completely head to toe in silver spandex with goggles, and he just starts booking it. And she chases him, and he covers himself in canola oil, it turns out, and slides, those storm drains that are he slides through one of those because he's lubed up, and it turns out that was Petey. It turns out that he was watching her, and he's now been fired from the FBI, and the FBI directly calls out that says, he has a high probability of becoming a vigilante, a mass vigilante, so we need to keep an eye on him, but no one knows where he went. No one knows where Petey is.
Interesting.
He's probably in Tulsa.
Yeah. And there are so many threads they set up for a potential season 2. The trial of Ozymandias, the new Angela being the new Dr. Manhattan, PD being Lube Man. But I don't think we're going to get a second season, or at least not a second season made by the same creators with the same quality. Because Damon Lindelof has said he just doesn't really have an idea for a season 2. That he put all of his ideas and all of his love and all of his work and passion into this one season, and it shows.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great HBO. It's a great HBO series. There was not one time I was disappointed.
Yeah,
it kept me going. I was like, "What's going on?"
And this show made me rethink my ideas about authority of the author. Because for a while, whenever there's been a Watchmen thing, like the before Watchmen comics from DC or Doomsday Clock, I always thought, that's gonna suck. This shouldn't exist because Alan Moore doesn't want it to. Alan Moore didn't want this TV show to exist, but it's been amazing, and I think it is a worthy successor to Watchmen, and it is an official successor to Watchmen. And I tried to dismiss it at first as, Alan Moore wouldn't want this, so we shouldn't treat it as canon. But maybe I think we should. I think maybe Alan Moore doesn't have the ultimate authority over Watchmen anymore.
Well, I think, to be honest, I don't think he wants anyone to touch his baby.
But at a certain point, he doesn't get to look at this idea he had, this universe he created, and decide that no one ever gets to touch it again. Because that's not how ideas work. That's not how media work. That's not how stories work.
And it's not like it's not like David Lindelof, rewrote his material. Mm-hmm. I mean, he kept it faithful to it.
Yeah, he added some things into Ozymandias' plan that probably weren't there originally, and there's the entire Hood of Justice thing, but it all works within Alan Moore's universe. Damon Lindelof did not retcon a single thing. He treated the Watchmen comic book as Bible.
I mean, even the little minute detail of Hood of Justice having a relationship with Metropolis Man.
Yeah, or the secret relationship with Silk Spectre.
The secret
to sort of diffuse the idea that he might be gay.
Yeah, and it's like there were like even those little things were put into this, and expanded upon.
Yeah. And
we find out that he was being he did have a secret affair with Metropolis Man, but Metropolis Man was kind of gaslighting him.
Yeah,
and so it's like, this is great. Like, it expands on that idea, and I like that. That was cool.
Yeah, and I think maybe Alan Moore shouldn't have the overall authority over Watchmen that fans give him anymore. Because I think it's been shown that maybe, yes, most adaptations of Alan Moore's work really suck. All of them except for that Justice League episode and now Watchmen. But if we treat it like we can't adapt his work, we can't get great things out of it.
Yeah.
Imagine if L. Frank Baum didn't want Wizard of Oz to be a movie and he just decided, and the fans just decided, no, you don't get to make movies and we'll hate them if you try.
And can I say, I just love Jeremy Irons as Ozymandias.
He is a great Ozymandias.
That is Ozymandias to me.
Yeah, the scenes where he's a younger Ozymandias are a little weird because they didn't quite...
Well, he's old. I mean...
Yeah, they tried to, make up him, and
yeah.
It didn't quite work. I'm guessing it looked too weird, so they decided not to do it as much. I don't know. But it was still good.
He's as an old Ozymandias, and as someone who's just lived through the time.
And the reveal that this entire thing on Europa with the game warden, with, him trying to escape he was just killing time.
Yeah.
He was bored and trying not to go insane while he was waiting for, a ride off the planet. So he created this entire game with the game warden trying to capture him and keep him there as a distraction.
Yeah. Just so he felt something, a little bit of this. I loved, it's a little small thing, but I just love at the end of it when he's getting arrested and he goes, "No, I'm not."
Yeah, it's because that's the thing with Ozymandias is he can't comprehend individuals, and that's the problem with his plan. And that's how actually Lady True got born, as a cleaning lady inseminated herself with his frozen sperm. And Lady True pointed out he never noticed when she left because Ozymandias sees systems, he sees governments, he sees world powers, he sees this and that he can manipulate. He doesn't see the people, and that's why he was so confused as to why they stood with nuclear power, why people kept making nukes despite his perfect society, is because people are individuals that he can't control at a micro level. He doesn't understand anything but the bigger picture.
Yeah.
It's not it's not that he doesn't see the forest for the trees, it's that he can't see the trees for the forest.
Yeah. And I love how, it's so indicative of him because this is the guy, like you said, he just sees systems, he doesn't see people. So that's why he was able to kill 3,000 people.
Yeah.
Or, 3 million people, right?
Yeah, 3
million people. So he kills 3 million people. He's like, well, I mean, they're people, but that's a number.
Yeah.
There's more people.
And it's why he can't comprehend Lori taking him in. It's because, he should be immune from this. He should be immune from this because he can manipulate the system, but he can't manipulate her.
Yeah. He's like, why? Why not? He's like, why? He's like, I love that. He's like, I'm arrested. No, I'm not.
Yeah. And then he gets hit with a wrench.
He tries to go, and this is the best part, right? Because remember in the Watchmen comic, he's like, you think I would tell you all about my plan and it not being... He's like, I'm not a comic book villain. Right?
Yeah.
And he becomes the comic book villain because he starts to go on a monologue, remember?
Yeah.
And he's like, and then he just gets slapped, and he gets slapped upside the head.
And not Hooded Justice, Looking Glass.
He's like, he talks too much.
He most certainly does.
I was like, yeah, that was great because I flipped it on the script. Now he is the comic book villain. So he is going on long-winded tangents,
Ultimately, I hope we do get a second season, but if it is, I want it with the same creative team. I don't want a second season with a different showrunner. And as I'm saying that, it sounds like I'm saying the exact same thing I did with Alan Moore, where only certain people should be allowed to create. Maybe someone else can create something great with this. I think maybe I don't want a direct sequel season to this without Damon Lindelof. Go tell a different story in the Watchmen universe, because there's a lot of stories you can tell there.
Yeah.
But don't try to follow this up.
I would love to learn more about Looking Glass.
Yeah.
I'd love to learn more about that.
Yeah. I'd love to learn more about the world outside of America.
Yeah.
Like, Vietnam, because we did get hints of what's happening in Vietnam and what Vietnam is like after it became a state.
Yeah, it's not perfect. People are rebelling because they don't want to be a part of the American system.
Yeah, we got hints that Russia is trying to build an intrinsic field generator, the device that created Dr. Manhattan. Maybe we could have a season set in Russia and exploring what Russia is like in this universe.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But, overall, I can't give this thing anything but a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Best show of the year.
Best show, honestly, in the last...
Decade? Yeah, I think Watchmen will probably be my best of the decade.
I know there's a lot of Game of Throners out there, but
Yeah, well, at least Watchmen didn't crash and burn in its last episode.
So that's where are we at? We're at 157.
We actually have to wrap things up in like 3 minutes.
Wow, sorry we didn't get to Halo terms, Parker.
It's okay because guess what? This went over there.
Are we actually silent for a second?
You had to ruin it. You had to say something.
I don't like it.
So here we are. Here we are.
The people on FM are like in total suspense.
I was starting to dance, and then it occurred to me I should probably stop doing visual gags if we're going to be transferring to radio at some point.
We are the visuals of America. We do visual things. We are the visuals. Mm-hmm. We are the peoples of the place. And here we are.
We're the kids
of America.
We're the kids of America. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, woo, woo, wee, woo. Oh,
wow, wee, woo.
Wow, wow, wow. We're having
I'm
strokes.
the scat man.
So, no, here's the thing. All right, here's the thing, Kitty Doos. All right. 311, have you heard of them? Yes or no? Heard of them?
No, I haven't heard them. I've heard of them because you keep yelling about them.
311.
Is that a band?
5 Alive.
5 Alive?
It's like a drink.
Johnny 5. John 5.
Johnny 5.
511. Not the
Johnny
best ones
5,
to drink.
Alive. Assemble. Reassemble.
Disassemble.
Disassemble.
No, disassemble.
Yes. Johnny 5. Short Circuit. It's a good movie.
Short Circuit 2. I never saw Short Circuit 2.
It wasn't that good.
It was kind of... They did... Of course they did. They put that guy in brownface and...
Oh my god. It's a concept that works once, and even if you're going to do it twice, you don't need to do brown... Why was there brown face?
I don't know. And he put on an Indian accent. Why? Yeah, I don't understand this.
Okay, so I'm not going to watch Short Circuit 2 anyway.
Yeah.
So
it was dated. It was dated.
It's a little dated. There's some things in the... Yeah, like I was watching...
It definitely wasn't as good as the first one, kind of like how Ghostbusters 2 wasn't really as good as the first one.
I was watching... There's a lot of things that's interesting, like the National Lampoon... I was watching Lampoon's Christmas Vacation,
Mm-hmm.
And they have... there's a lot of things that were like, for the time.
Pretty much any movie like that from the 80s, like Revenge of the Nerds, is
Oh my
that
god,
is just-
yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that is. All of those people should be in prison for life.
that was a, but it was all about, the nerds are getting revenge. No, that's not right. That's just not how you do that. No one deserves what was going on in that. It was,
Yeah.
I remember when I was in fifth grade, my teacher was like, "Yeah, you guys should watch Revenge of the Nerds," when we were like 10. And I watched it. I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, no, none of that's good.
So catch us on Viacom, catch us on
Viacom?
Viacom. So
Viacom.
catch us, you can catch our next show on AOL. You can also catch it on the Blockbuster rental video store, the rentals.
We're being hosted by CompuServe.
We're
By
being hosted
CompuServe, yes.
CompuServe.
Special guest Alta Vista.
Alta Vista's going to be there. And we're also going to have, special guest appearance by Nelly. The rapper.
Yes,
Yeah.
not Natalie Sapien from the audience.
not Nelly Sapien from the audience. Nelly, the actual rapper, is going to be there.
Special music performance by Macintosh Plus.
Yeah, Macintosh Plus. Who's also dated from early 2000s, late 90s.
Oh,
Who sang I Saw Sun?
I opened up my
Ace of Base.
Ace of
Yes.
Base special appearance. Ace of Base, Salt and Pepper will be there.
Oh, Salt and Pepper.
Yeah.
Milli Vanilli.
And we're gonna have
Isn't one of them dead?
Oh, I don't know.
no, yes, one of them is dead.
Oh,
I think it's Millie.
My condolences.
And then the other thing too, we're gonna have Janko Jeans will be free there.
And each one will be filled with Zima.
SEMA,
We'll show them at the bottom. We don't care if they're wet. You're going to put them on anyway.
Bottled and jams will also be a refreshing beverage. Pepsi Crystal going to be there as well.
That one we could actually have because they started making it again.
That's
I think
right.
they're actually going to start making Zima again, too.
Yeah, I saw that on the shelf the other day. I was like, Zima? That's a thing still?
We could actually have... And there is actually a company that started making Jinko jeans again.
Oh, God.
We could actually have all of these things.
We should have a
Throwback.
Janko Jeans party. We should have a Janko Jeans. Everyone wears Janko Jeans. That should be a thing. And then we're gonna have Walkmans as well. We have a free Walkman to go.
You know, they actually remade the Walkman for modern
Of course
times.
they have.
To sell it as an anniversary thing. They made another Walkman.
Of course, we live in the era of nostalgia.
Yeah.
Check out. I can't even tell what decade we're in anymore.
Too many people liked the first Guardians of the Galaxy, and everyone was like, "I want a Walkman now."
The NES Classic sure didn't help.
You can also find the Atari 2600s are going to be there as well.
Yeah, they're remaking those as a classic version.
I actually have an original Atari 2600.
Really?
Yeah, I have an original Atari 2600.
Does it still work?
It still works.
Wow.
That's
And I have
impressive.
30 games. ET. I have 2 copies of ET.
You have 2
How do you
copies of
have
ET.
2 copies?
I don't
Why
know.
do
It
you
came
have
with it.
one copy
Pump the
of ET?
brakes. What?
And I have Missile Command and I have Asteroids is also one of mine.
Okay,
Both
well,
solid.
those are
good.
good go-to
ET,
ones.
which is as solid
the two
as an
copies,
ocean.
though.
That's
Not
very
as solid
thin.
as a landfill
Frogger.
full
I
of
also have
ET
Frogger
games.
on it.
Frogger, solid.
Gink, gink, gink. I love the little noises that they make. So yeah, I also have other bunch of games, but Pac-Man.
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 fever.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And you go,
Driving me crazy.
check out. You can check out. You can check me out on. You can check me out on the lines. What?
It's been 7 straight minutes of this. We're over time.
Well.
Be sure to tune in every Saturday and Sunday, ladies
How
and
did
gentlemen.
you do this? No, stop. You're pulling on it. Keep
We're
outroing
trained
us.
professionals, we swear. Be sure to tune in every Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 2 here on TVOSJ,
Don't start yet.
But we are
the voice of San
I gotta
Joaquin.
get the computer warmed up. All right? The monitor is sleepy poop.
killing time. Vamp.
Be sure to tune in every Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 2 here on TVOSJ, the voice of San Joaquin, and soon to be
Investigate the
KBCC
Snyder Cut.
89.5 FM, Tracy,
Buddy, can't bench
California. Now, with that being said, my name is Ed Heitman. Joining me in the studio, as always, are my good friends and co-host Brian Rodriguez
Goodbye.
and Parker Spurlin.
He's over there.
Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful